Armiger. Welcome, Armiger. You stand before what remains of the High Council, advisors to Anasko Varun. We are all that is left after the disaster that has befallen our people. I represent House Dulkef. Jamal is from House Kadik, and we are joined by Lovek of House Vital. We are, all of us, hopeful that your arrival in Dazra and your clear connection to Anasko Varun, for the first time in weeks, represent some semblance of hope. Collectively, we unite under the banner of House Varun, pledged to follow Jinan Varun and his descendants. But our society is not a monolith. Jinan, in his wisdom, shepherded the first of us into families that we might grow and prosper. Our 3 families have for generations now helped to govern the people of House Varun, and offer counsel to our leader. But you do. We have only seen brief glimpses of him since the incident. But you heard him speak. How can that be taken as anything other than providence? Please, just allow us a moment to explain.
By all means, Malabor. I can't wait to see how you spend this.
Please, can we just for a moment...
Can we just for a moment what? Discuss whether or not to allow the first convert to House Varun since before any of us were born? A bit late on that, it seems.
You were not there. You did not see Anasko. It felt different. We have already wasted so much time.
You're correct. I was not there. Because you elected to travel to the spaceport on your own. And then decided this on your own.
Do not waste time with more bickering. Anasko, and by extension House Varun, suffers with every passing moment.
Of course, Lovek. My apologies. Please, Malabor, do go on.
Anasko Varun, like his father before him, has relied on the teachings of Jinan to guide us. Anasko wondered if perhaps it was time to seek guidance. directly from the Great Serpent, and so sought a means of reaching out.
Perhaps he found the teachings inadequate.
Careful, Kadik. You tread on dangerous ground.
I mean nothing by it. We simply were never consulted on the matter and do not know the full motive.
The point is that a series of experiments have taken place over the years, utilizing grav drive technology to hopefully make direct contact with the Great Serpent, similar to Jinan Varun's initial meeting.
And then something went wrong.
We do not know what happened. We were not inside the Scaled Citadel at the time.
Had we been, we wouldn't be standing here now. We'd be like the rest of them.
A great tide of energy emanated from the Scaled Citadel and swept across Dasra. Much was destroyed in its wake. Those caught in the blast have been left in a state of confusion, trapped halfway between our universe and the Vortex. The Citadel itself remains in such a state, right there and yet beyond our reach. We can only assume that the experiment is still running, somehow preventing us from entering the Citadel. We cannot get in, so we cannot stop it. We were beginning to lose hope before you arrived. Forgive me, I am no scientist, but as it has been explained to me, what we call the Vortex is the space between universes. It has only been a few weeks. There had been efforts to put together some kind of response, some plan. But they had fallen apart. Your arrival and your interaction with Anasco shows that he can still be saved. The plan had been devised to access the Citadel, but the work stalled. Clearly, it is time to move forward with it. The current head of our science team, Ekris, should be in Jinan Plaza down below us, towards the Citadel. Tell him about your experience with Anasco, and that work on the morning device must proceed.
Do you know the scientists out at Hamadi Station?
The old married couple? Azad and Shireen, if I remember right. I've met him a few times. He seemed a little eccentric, but otherwise quite nice.
Do you truly have no shame, Amin? No shame at all. What you have done goes beyond disgrace.
City.
It is more.
I can hardly
Are
understand.
sins really so
You
great
should be
that we
hanging your
deserve?
head in shame. But
Thanks.
instead, here you are, acting like a common fool.
Yes? Well, look who it is. You have made quite a stir, and given the state of things, that is a singular accomplishment. To what do I owe the honor, Armiger? Well, well. Progress, at last. Then your arrival is even more momentous than I'd believed. I will spare you much of the technical detail, as I confess that pieces of it I barely understand myself. One cannot help but notice the energy field around the Scaled Citadel. Until we can get through it, we cannot shut down the experiment inside, and it has proved quite impossible to get through. We had the beginnings of a plan to Every one of the houses needs to contribute, and every one, what should have been a cooperative effort, turned contentious. Easy decision. And so, construction never began. We have sat here. The council just so happens to represent the 3 houses. Each of those houses needs to contribute something. Were the speaker here, he could bypass all of it. I suppose I should. I believe I've done enough complaining for now. If you're here, the council has likely sent... I need to oversee construction here. I appreciate that someone around here. House Vetol owes us access codes for the city power grid. House Kadik was supposed to provide a young scientist named Sahima to help. And Hasmek, the new elder of House Dulkef, he has helped me get what we need. And we will see what we can do for the speaker. And I may have something that can help. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks, but I have still... These phantoms, the vortex. Fascinating subject, really. If only there were some less disaster. I know. I have lost friends and colleagues myself. We have encountered several interesting phenomena. First, while the phantoms shift to a fully human form. Second, we have learned that killing the phantoms sometimes causes uneven... These horrors and their spawn are infested with cysts. We have managed to collect enough to run experiments and have devised them. While they have no use in the development of the morning device, if you find yourself out in the field, I believe... I do hope you are not questioning the thoroughness of my research. I assure you, they will work. The process is simple, and depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be... not enough to have prevented it from happening. It had been Inasco's primary goal for some time. A way to recreate Jinan Varun's encounter. Everything we knew about grav drive technology, every scientific... Towards the end, I was just so exhausted. I asked for a brief time off. Yes, I am sure that is how some would see. I left the project weeks before the disaster. Some breakthroughs. Just look around. I'm sure you have... And those left behind are... I hope that... Yes, depending on how much trouble you're getting into. We have been nearly overwhelmed with all that has happened over the last few weeks. These phantoms, the vortex. Well, then you are in luck. We haven't... Second, we have learned that killing the phantoms sometimes causes an even greater... These horrors and their spawn are infested with cysts. We have managed to collect enough to run experiments and have... While they have no use in the development of the morning device, if... This is hardly the time to be turning down additional options. I am simply providing you with the information. If you choose to ignore it, so be it. The process is simple enough that any industrial workstation should... And depending on how you combine said materials, you may find the results to be...
impression we don't want to give.
Please, Jamal. Don't you see how all this works in our favor? It's not up for discussion. I won't risk what we worked so hard to achieve. It's done.
No, you'd risk our future and reputation as a house. But you are the chosen elder.
Ah, don't patronize
Yes?
me. The Great Serpent spared our house. We are favored. And shouldn't you get back to the council? So, Akaris has sent our... Don't worry. Jamal's already told. I'm Razma. Well, it's also in... I wouldn't have suspected an outs... I understand. And I know the camp. They're being held hostage. What happened to Dazra was a cataclysmic... It was chaos. And the because right now, this situation is a matter. As much as the council thinks it's their business, they want Sahima, and we're trying to produce. You are right when it comes to... The Zealots have yet to name... Worst case, they know we can't risk Sahima. They had a house. House Malene was fully dedicated to Jandar Varun. They objected when his brother Jarek. It's why they abandoned their house and became the Zealots you know today. Jinan Varun had twin sons, Jarek. Jandar fully supported the Serpent's crusade, and to many in House Malene. Yes, and it's exactly why I need the upper hand. I need you to find the hostages. Normally I'd have agents, but we too suffered loss. It's the only reason I even agreed to the... Of course. But the negotiations offered a chance. I saw the chance, and had to take it. As demanding as I'd expected the Zealots to be. And that's where the issue lies. I don't know where the Zealots... Their name is Merrick. This... Once I made the decision to go through with the negotiations, now that the situation has... It's not the family name that complicates matters here. As I said, Merrick works for me, forcing them to give up the information. Get the information. The Zealots don't trust easily. If their location was they'd never trust them or any agent of House Kadik again. The people of Dazra look to us elders for strength and guidance. Don't let my composure fool you. What better way to surveil a threat? It's important for us to know what the Zealots may be targeting, to stay one step ahead. Merrick is proud of what they've accomplished, so I doubt they'll... If being just don't be. See that you do. You'll find...